you do when the world has been completely turned upside down? How are we supposed to handle that when predictable daily routines have been disrupted? You know, think about other times in your life when change has shown up for you. Do you get excited? You go, wee! Or do you tend to want to have things just go back to normal, right? The way that they were? Do you tend to adapt quickly, or do you struggle with the uncertainty of things? You know, Charles Darwin said, it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. And right now we are experiencing the most extreme case of collective change that we've seen, and for many of us, right, our lifetimes. I'm Ronda Renée of DivineNavigation.com. We support you to live, love, and work as a soul from your soul. And today I want to share with you the ADAPT formula. And this is a formula that I originally created back in 2014 when I had been on a particularly wild roller coaster ride of
Could you try again?
Siri wants to get involved with us to be at the end of a big time period of change. I experienced almost everything that you could think of. I got divorced. I also got an annulment. I had a career change. I had a foreclosure. I had a bankruptcy. I started a new business. I dealt with family members with addiction and another with a terminal illness. And I had to find my way through that. So the ADAPT formula was birthed from that, from my PhD in change. And so this is a simple 5-step process that will allow you to navigate any change with ease. And once you learn the sequence, you'll be able to use it every day to move through literally any change or upset in practically minutes. Now, for the bigger changes, like the kind of things that we're experiencing right now, that's going to take a bit more time, right? You're going to spend more significant time in each stage, but the formula works every single time. And I just had to bring this back out. Like I said, I created this in 2014. You can find out more about Divine Navigation itself. This kind of sits outside of the core work that I do, but it's an amazing process that I personally use all the time, and I want to give it to you today. So I'm going to go through it rather quickly, but I'll make sure to tell you where you can get a copy for yourself. So the first step in ADAPT is allow, and that is about allowing your emotions. You know, it's scary right now, not knowing, you know, particularly if you're facing a limitation in your income, if you have family members that are ill, or you're more concerned about them getting ill because they're at higher risk. The thing about emotions is that they need to be felt, that if we just stuff them down, they don't actually go anywhere. So we need to give ourselves the grace and the space, I like to say, to just feel whatever it is we're feeling. It's not always the easiest thing to allow us to do, to allow ourselves to do, but it's a requirement. And the great thing is that when you feel it, it's released. And most of the time we avoid emotion because we're more concerned about getting stuck in that emotion. And we think if we don't feel it, that we are free from it. But it's actually the opposite. If you're not feeling it, you're already stuck in the emotion. So, you know, if you need to cry for 10 minutes or an hour, whatever it is, let yourself do that. That's liberating to your entire nervous system. And there's actually a complete video series I recently did for the ADAPT formula where I go into each one of these steps and give you the actual tools, simple ways to start to feel your feelings in a way that's going to be safe and non-threatening. So I wish I had enough time to share all of that with you today, but I'll tell you how you can get that, as I mentioned. So that's A, allow. The D is for discover. And this is about discovering your inner resources, because what I know is that you have within you everything you need to navigate this situation. We have so much inside of us that we mostly don't tap into. You know, we get conditioned to believe that it's the outside world that creates that safety and security for us. But it's actually never going to be a time when the outside world is in the perfect place, right? It's sort of like rearranging a room, we think, right? Put everything in place, go, okay, now it's good. Now nobody move, nothing change. That's not life. Life is a living, breathing organism, and it's always changing and evolving. You know, as they say, if you're not living, you're dying, right? So if things are not evolving and not progressing, that's not really life. So understanding that you have everything inside of you that is required to navigate any situation, actually, that life gives you. In our deeper work in divine navigation, our foundational process is called the divine coordinates process, where we identify the specific, unique, energetic qualities that make up your soul. And the rub is that whatever your divine coordinates are is why you have certain life experiences. It's not the other way around, right? One might think we have life experiences and that turns us into someone. Well, it can turn us into someone, but that's a personality approach. Your soul came in as it is, and it's all the other stuff that gets put on top of it. And the life experiences that are brought to you is to help you learn to be who you were designed to be. And it could go either direction. You can go more towards soul or more towards personality. Your inner resources are about your soul, and you have everything that you need. Time to tap into those. Again, in the video series, I share my favorite tools for that. The second A is accept. And this can be the hardest one. And actually, this is the place where how well you do with it will show you, is there more work to do in allow or in discover first. So accepting is about accepting that you can't go back to the way things were, right? There isn't going to be, oh, we're all back to normal. We're all going to be changed through this situation, right? And that's the point, is that we're being led somewhere. So when we can say, okay, that is done, how do I move forward, right? What is waiting for me? What is on the other side of this? And the more that you can accept, like I said, this will give you some indication about if there's more work to do in the allow step or in the discover step. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, that's where our work really is, to move forward and really go to the next level. The next step is participate. The P stands for participate. And that's about participating with what's happening, right? So as I mentioned, there's this instinct when, like, say we lose a job. Let's talk about what the current situation is, but let's also talk about all the changes that we commonly face in life. So if you lose a job, the instinct is to, oh, quick, let me go replace it. And we tend to go replace it with what we know. Well, what if you were let go of that job? You were liberated from that job because it's finally time for you to go do your own thing, right? You've had this idea, you've had this desire, and you needed a push. If a relationship ends, do you try to get it back, whether it be that exact one or another one to replace it, because that's a comfort zone? Well, what if it's time for you to spend some time on your own, either for some personal work that's wanting your attention, or maybe just for timing, because that perfect for you partner will be available soon. And you are best if you stay available, right? So paying attention to, are you trying to recreate the past, or are you in a true point of creation by participating with what's happening for you? Trusting that the universe is taking you in a direction of your highest good. Then the final step is transform. And this really is not a full step on its own. It's kind of the culmination of all the others. It's about transforming into the person that you are meant to be by letting your soul guide you, by letting divine navigation lead the way, understanding that your life is a path and there's a purpose to all of this, to your life. And I have a different perspective on purpose than a lot of people do, because I really know that purpose is not a project. It's not a mission. It's not anything that you do. It's about who you're being and who you're becoming. And I feel that self-mastery is our purpose, all of us. But what I'm mastering is different than what you're mastering, right? And that's revealed in our divine coordinates. Those are the specific pathways along which your soul intended to master, and they are unique to every one of us. So using that change, right? Using the circumstances and what other people would see as challenges as opportunities. Thinking about this current situation, what are the beautiful gifts that are coming out of this, right? How is our world going to be transformed? You know, I have a lot of awarenesses about what some of those things are, but one of the biggest ones is really understanding how we can no longer imagine that we're not all connected, right? This is a literal in your face proof that we are all one, and every single thing that we do impacts everyone else. That's just one of the ways we're going to be transformed. So I invite you to see change in a new way, to see it as your ally, to see it as a partner in your overall evolution and the embodiment of your soul. It's hard to do at first, perhaps, but with the ADAPT formula, try it out on something small. Even when you get frustrated, it's amazing even how a small frustration can be transformed in a matter of moments. So you can get your own copy of the ADAPT formula at divinenavigation.com/adapt-formula. It's divinenavigation.com/adapt-formula. And as I mentioned, there is a video, a short video, they're between 10 and 15 minutes or so for each step, that we will also send you to walk you through and give you practical application of each and every one of these steps. And then also your own guide that tells you each of the steps in visual form. I know I'm super visual, so I love to have that. So that's the ADAPT formula, and I hope that you will apply it today.